Hi, and welcome to This Is My Architecture. I'm Abby. I'm here with Andre from Agero. Andre, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about what Agero does?
Sure. Agero provides roadside assistance and accident scene management for the top OEMs and insurance companies in the country.
Cool. So Windows runs great on AWS. So I see up here we have Visual Studio, we have .NET. Can you walk me through a little bit about what you guys are doing with AWS?
Sure. So as part of our digital transformation and journey to the cloud, we needed to find a way to reliably deploy our .NET code into the AWS cloud so we can transition from a monolith architecture to a microservice architecture.
Cool. So I think that's a story that really resonates with a lot of people, right? So I have a .NET app. I'm running with a monolith, but microservices are becoming really popular. So how do I transition? And with the transition, you have a lot of, I think, the challenges. So I think you guys are doing continuous delivery, right?
Correct. So we're doing continuous integration, continuous delivery, and continuous deployment of our .NET code from development all the way to production.
So that's awesome. So let's walk through all those little pieces. So can you tell me about how you do continuous integration?
Sure. So what we actually use the built-in functionality of Visual Studio to enable continuous integration, as well as add some of our own features like adding a chain set ID text file into the zip file that gets created.
Cool. So once I've kind of created that zip file, I have everything from my Visual Studio ID. What happens next?
Sure. So the next thing that happens is that MS-build post-deployment script pushes the file to S3, and then it gets picked up by Code Pipeline.
Awesome. So once I have everything in Code Pipeline, what happens next? So how do I get my things out of Code Pipeline and out into a different environment?
Sure. So the first thing that happens is that your application needs to get deployed into development. And what happens here is that we actually extract that chain set ID, append it to the zip file, and deploy it using the Elastic Beanstalk API.
Awesome. So once I have my artifacts in Elastic Beanstalk, how do I kind of continuously deploy those out? So how do I do that?
Sure. So what ends up happening is that we use the EB extensions to transform the web config file after the deployment by using the post-deployment hook of EB extensions. This allows us to maintain multiple versions of the web config and transform the file into the environment that we're deploying. And we do this by grabbing the metadata of the EC2 instance and using the environment tag to pass it to the web config transformation command line tool in order to transform the web config.
That's awesome. So you're able to do kind of version control with that as well, right? Because you're saving all the previous versions and then you're deploying the right one.
Yes, absolutely. And what we actually do is we store all of these versions into Dynamo, and then we provide that information into Splunk via a dashboard.
Oh, cool. So you can kind of aggregate all the information from your deployments and your versions and Splunk also.
Absolutely. So you can see on a Splunk dashboard exactly which packages have been deployed into which environment.
Awesome. And do you guys alert on anything? So you have all this data in Splunk. So do you let me know if my deployment doesn't work or if I need to roll back or if something goes wrong?
Sure, but we actually use the SNS topics that Elastic Beanstalk creates in order to send that information to the developer.
Oh, awesome. So you're kind of using everything that's built into Elastic Beanstalk to do the notifications and to handle the deployment.
Correct. Elastic Beanstalk is essential for our DevOps model. It allows the developer to fully manage the entire stack for one single UI.
Awesome. So the only thing I think we haven't touched on is CloudFormation. So how are you building the CloudFormation templates? What are you using them for?
Sure. So we use the CloudFormation templates so that the developer can spend all their time focusing on the code and not building or waiting for somebody else to build their infrastructure. So we use CloudFormation to automate the complete infrastructure automation.
Cool. So it looks like you guys you build everything locally. You've kind of automated all the little parts that go into working with .NET. So you're taking care of the versions, you're building your templates, and then you've got continuous integration, delivery, and deployment.
Correct.
Awesome. That sounds really great. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching. This is my architecture.